Hey folks, I'm the Mysterious JG, and welcome back to Final Fantasy VIII. Here's a little ditty about Squall and Renoa, two American kids living in the Heartland. Well, except they're not American, and Heartland rhymes kind of with Diane. Doesn't really rhyme at all with Renoa. I suppose I could say two American kids living in the Garden. That rhymes with Diane as well as Heartland it does, but doesn't rhyme with Renoa. They're still not Americans. Let's just move on. .org. So I was trying to race to get a bunch of this recorded before my infusion day, so I wouldn't be having to record videos while being infused, because I am feeling a little under the weather today. But I had really good news as far as my had some CT scans done and no sign of remission, so pretty good mood psychologically, even if my stomach's feeling a little Let's try to get enough plot done, because we're actually really close to a point where there's at least a little bit of off-screeny type of stuff I could do that would be beneficial as far as getting everybody's ultimate whoppets. Disc 3 is like shorter than I remember. We're actually getting kind of close to the end here. I guess Disc 1 felt lengthy to me, and I always, when thinking back on this game over the years, pretty clearly remembered the story up through the end of Disc 1, and things got really fuzzy after that. And I do remember that you went to space, so that was kind of fuzzy on why. Now, there's a logical, I guess, reason that we went to space. We now know that somehow, some way, Laguna, maybe the reason Alone has sent us into... Well, the reason Alone has sent us into the Laguna's past is apparently because Laguna came to rescue her and therefore wasn't around. I'm pretty sure this has been established in game by this point. That Estelle, is that even her name? Alone. Who the hell is Estelle? Give him hell, Estelle. Alone, who has this weird, never explained power, and by never explained, it's not like I want a scientific explanation, but there's no sense that she got it by some mystical force, or it was a gift from ancient gods, or she was exposed to estrangement. Like, no, there's no even like radioactive spider bite level explanation for why Alone has the power to send people into the memories of people that she alone knows. But Alone was trying to find some kind of way to use Squall to convince Laguna in the past, thus changing history, not to go to Estar to rescue her, but instead to stay and be with Rain, so that Rain would not have been without her, love when she died. Because Estelle, why do I keep saying Estelle? Alone seems to think that her life turned out well enough. This seems strange to me because we're now learning that Laguna, although it seems weird that he just meets people who after a couple of seconds, like him being nice to one of those orange guys who goes, was enough to convince them he needs to be the future leader of Estar, or at least the leader of their revolution. It did seem like they kind of had their stuff together and ready to overthrow the sorceress anyway. But, yeah, like she seems to be messing with the history of Estar, which has freed itself from the yoke of an evil sorceress queen, because she wanted to help her ma, Rain, which, I mean, it's her mother, so, it's not like there's some rando stranger that she's risking a country to help, but, yeah, that's why Alone has been sending us into the past with Laguna. But more importantly with Alone, because she has this weird power to send people into the past, sort of, Sorceress Ultimecia, an evil sorceress from the future who seems to have the power to possess sorceresses in the past, some aspect of what her evil plans are, she can't do without Alone's power, even though she already has the power to possess people's minds in the past. Apparently she can't just possess, or she can't, she's got past-related magical hoo-ha powers, but not the same ones Alone has. And if she also had Alone's powers, she'd be set. So she needs to possess Alone. Why she can't just possess Alone? Like, what is it about Sorceress Adele, who was the evil ruler of Estar. Or what it is about Idea, the matron, the kindly woman who raises orphans but becomes the evil sorceress dictator of Galbadia when possessed by the sorceress Ultimecia. I don't understand why Ultimecia can just reach back and take over these people. We don't know. Adele may or may not have been, like, down with the idea. Adele may have already been evil and is, like, into also having, even if she loses her will and becomes a servant of Ultimecia, maybe Adele's already intrinsically evil and wants the extra power that she gets. We don't really know. Idea clearly is trying to fight Ultimecia, but is afraid that she may not be able to do it because she's already failed before. I don't understand why Ultimecia can't just jump straight into Alone's head, although clearly she's been trying to get the army of Galbadia to find Alone. Maybe there's something going on with Alone, who has even stronger inherent sorcerer's powers than any of the others, that if she were to, like, she would need to be in the presence of Idea, and then Idea could hop into Alone. Or maybe she can't possess Alone and has to find some way to force Alone to... I don't know. I don't get it. But the reason Alone is in space is because that's supposed to be the best way to keep her away from Ultimecia. Which is kind of weird, because Adele is also in space, trapped, but... now the problem is that we took Renoa to space. And the reason Squall is interested in going to space, he doesn't really seem to care all that much about all this sorceress stuff. He's just trying to help, at this point, Renoa. Nah, I mean, Squall had been on mission about fighting the sorceress up until the point where Renoa got taken out of action. But yeah, this is the point where Squall turns into kind of the sappy romantic hero whose heart is... And I'll be kind, and I'll say heart rather than suggesting any, other body part is thinking for him instead of his brain. And he wants to... And he's got the support of his squad. I mean, I think they also think that they need to go up and make sure things are going right with Adele. But essentially, he wants to get up there and make sure Renoa's okay. He thinks Alone can somehow help with this. His logic is kind of tenuous, but he forced Alone to jump back into Renoa's memories to figure out what happened to Renoa. And we found out what happened to Renoa before he really had to do the memory junk, because it kind of became apparent that what happened to Renoa when she got up and started acting all goofy and sorceress controlled was that the sorceress had done something. I don't really understand why Idea appears to already have intrinsic sorceress powers, because at least her limit break works the same as some evil sorceress power she used in the story. So, I mean, my best guess is that Idea is a powerful magic user. Even though once she's in your party, she works exactly the same as everyone else. You have to junction to her. She has to have magic stocked in inventory, blah, blah, blah. But my guess is she's a powerful magic user, but some of the really high-end stuff, she had, like, telekinetically throwing people around and bringing statues of monsters to life so that they could try to murder Renoa, putting the mind rush on Cypher. That's probably stuff that Idea could only do because she was channeling Ultimecia's power. But that being said, I don't understand why she wouldn't just hop into Renoa, and instead of making Renoa hit a bunch of buttons to release Sorceress Adele, why doesn't Renoa just the new evil Sorceress Queen? Well, I mean, I know one reason why is that would be... well, no. I was about to say that would be hard to write. It would be difficult to figure out how Squall could help her. But no, that would actually be intrinsically more dramatic. If you had some scene of Squall trying to, like, Renoa all evil eyes and crazy and the floaty hair and stuff, and Squall has to break through Ultimecia's control. That would be romantic and sparmy and kind of Final Fantasy-ish-esque, but it's not what we're doing. Instead, Squall is trying to figure out how he can save Renoa, who is at this point drifting off in space, having been used to break through Adele's separate outer space jail cell, and then being cast off by Ultimecia once she was no longer needed. So that is where the story is. I have spent a third of this video talking. Let's go. Alone? Why is she bursting out of her cell? Talk to everybody else first, if I even can. Did you find out what happened to Renoa? Were you able to change the past? Oh, that's a lot. Were you able to change the past? I couldn't do anything. What should I do? Well, nothing, apparently. I remember those eyes. You just looked at me with the same eyes you had when you were little. Yeah, I mean, they've grown somewhat, along with the rest of my body. Those curious, innocent puppy dog eyes. I loved those eyes. Many times I considered cutting them out and carrying them around for myself in a purse. That's in the past. Well, yeah, it's kind of my deal, that's right. What's important is right now I finally realized that. I have to help Renoa now. That's the only thing I can do, right? And Selfie's like listening to podcasts on her iPhone. Yes, talk to her, Squall. Your voice may not reach her, but your heart will. So, press her ears really close to your chest and attempt to make your heart beat louder than normal. Are you ready? I'm taking you to the nearest past, the closest present to the future. The what? Take my hand. I'm a stranger in paradise. So we are now going to the nearest past, the closest present to the future. Remaining life support system, 15 seconds. Am I gonna make it? Am I now Renoa? How? I think I'm pretty much fucked here, folks. Oh well. Had a good run. I can't do anything. Not that this is a situation I would know how to handle if I was in her place, but she does get panicky about not having friends around. Drifting endlessly. She would not cope well with coronavirus social distancing. I'm helpless. So you would have to have, bio status immunity. Remaining life support, 0. Can she be saved by 0? No. This is bullshit, man. I deserve to be given a chance to replay this minigame. That's it. She's gonna puke. I'm gonna die. She's gonna die. Life support is terminated. I already said it was at 0. Weren't you listening? Goodbye, cruel world. I'm leaving you today. Goodbye. Squall. That's hoping she'd mention Squall. Come on. She's supposed to be in love with him, isn't she? Renoa, no! And then Squall turns fully into Darth Vader. Don't give up. Huh? Can you hear me? It's Squall, Renoa. That's right, in our culture, when you marry, you take the first name of your partner as your last name. Renoa. So I haven't established how we're going to save her, but I suppose I could have done all my backlog of the plot during this scene if I realized it was going to go on this long. I don't know whether to consider this a sexy anime character because it is a spacesuit that doesn't extenuate or exaggerate gender-specific features. I don't know for sure that it's not supposed to be Squall. Okay, now it's a super sexy space helmet person. Dying anime chicks are hot. Renoa, come on, try to remember. Try to remember the basics of CQC. Remember what? Oh, she got Renoa, I'm right there with you, listen to me. Is she supposed to know how the spacesuit works and be able to fire, retro rockets or something? Squall, I think you're gonna have to man up and do it, dog. I don't think she's really got a way to get herself out of this situation. She doesn't have to be a helpless love interest. She could be the, fully competent woman But at this point, she regained control of her own body with like 15 seconds of life support left. It's not really on her to get out of this situation. There's not a lot that she can do. Come on, Squall. I don't have to power level Udea up to 100 to replace her. You need to get her out of this. Thought for a minute she was going to land on that little speck of white, and it would turn out to be a platform, and we'd enter into a platforming sequence. Wouldn't have passed this game. Once again, nothing, not even start to pause, is doing anything right now. Is that his ring or whatever? If only Angelo were here, he'd know what to do. I'm still... alive? Yes, I just used the menu system to transfer oxygen to you. Squall? I'm leaving parts of my suit as a trail of breadcrumbs. Oh, she activated emergency oxygen or something. Is there particles in her suit? Is she crying, sweating, or did she sneeze? I'm not sure how Alone is involved here, other than I guess somehow we convince her to stay alive. I'm gonna go find Renoa. Okay. You didn't need my help at all. Yeah. Thanks, sis. Thanks for not helping me. My gosh, he's going? Yeah, my gosh, indeed. Idiot, there's no way he can get back. He's insane, dude. He's going to run out of fuel and life support in no time. They're both going to die. I was supposed to be French, but JG has maybe become German and is now trying to correct. He is, of course, overcorrecting. Steering too far into French stereotype territory. That's a French word, isn't it? I have no idea. I don't know nothing about them non-American cultures. Renoa, where are you? Oh, well, there she is. I'm gonna find you no matter what. I have to get in front of her and catch her. Okay. Well, I mean, I do seem to have some limited control here. So the thing is, the FAQ I'm reading said that there's some button that fires rockets, but I'm not hearing a sound to indicate that's happening. Triangle seems to be making the background stuff move faster, so I'm just holding the triangle button and trying to adjust so she's in the center of the screen. I do not want to lose this minigame because... Oh, let me try these other buttons. No, triangle vaguely seem to be doing something. I don't want to lose this minigame because I believe you just game over and immediately have to retry, and it's not the most interesting minigame either. I doubt there's even dialogue covering what happens, so I just think... You just gotta grab her right by the butt. Hold on, Renoa. I know I should have kissed you first, but it's my birthday, and you said I could have anal. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. That wasn't the thing I should have said, probably. Squall, thank you for remembering that you should have at least offered to kiss me first. I heard your voice. I can't believe it. Are we going to make it? Don't worry. about it. Or would I be out of fuel? We'll ride down with the monsters. Yeah, but when we get to heaven, we can probably, like, actually, you know, consummate. I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened yet. Low on oxygen. What now? Die in space? Well, yeah. I'm so helpless. Which one of them is saying this? I can't even save Renoa. Come on, think. Renoa should be the easiest person to save of all for some reason I can't explain right now. The girl who was trapped in space should be an easy rescue. Oh, well, that's convenient. A spaceship. Renoa, hold on. I have reason to believe that's a spaceship. My reason being that JG's played this game before. Yeah, so how is it... Why would Renoa not have just found this spaceship on her own and been able to rescue herself then? I mean, it's clearly more romantic when the two of them find this and safety together, but I mean, you know, feminist critique. You could have him somehow use the miracle romance power and Alone's time power and blah 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 to say that he, like, woke her up as she was going under and provided her knowledge she didn't have about how to activate, like, an emergency backup oxygen system to give her more time. I'm nitpicking now. I don't know why I'm going all social this is word, but yeah, that would have worked. It would have been romantic if he had cared about her enough to risk... I guess he's not risking anything unless he hops out in the spaceship and saves her. That's the problem. Yeah, so yeah, you could have done it where, like, he used Alone's power and the strength of his own true love and feelings is what allowed him to reach Renoa telepathically and then alert her to the fact that, you know, maybe she had emergency oxygen she didn't know about. That could have given her the time necessary to... is she all loaded up with junctions and whatnot? Neither of them appear to be. It is... I'm not getting any sound. What is going on here? I am not hearing sound. I will be annoyed if something... Hold on. Yeah, there should be music. Oh, I really don't want to have to redo this whole video. Alright, guys, I'm going to stop recording and piece this together from 2 if I can determine that the sound is actually working. Maybe something is wrong with my headphones or something like that. But yeah, I have reason to believe I'm going to have to scrap this entire video, so let me come back in a second and finish this up if everything's okay. Alright, we're back. I had goofed up the sound setting to where I couldn't hear the sound, but everything recorded fine. Which is probably why I didn't make any comments on how dramatic... I recall the music in this sequence. Now that I'm thinking about it, there was like I was like, oh, I guess there's no music. Like, in the back of my mind, I wasn't saying anything. It's like, oh, I guess there's no sound in this sequence. Maybe that makes sense. I mean, you're in the vacuum of space for most of it. But then I was like, yeah, I thought there was music, and I thought it was pretty decent, or at least emotional or whatever. But yeah, never mind. It's fine. Oh, I thought I was gonna have to redo that video, which is gonna be kind of annoying. Anyway. Who got the junctions? Zell got the junctions. Okay. So, I never bothered to... I do believe we are going to have some combat here, which is why I think we need to switch. So I will give Zell power to Squall. We can give... Oh, hold on, let's see. Kaitis has nothing. Oh, that's right, it was Irvine. And Irvine has what he has, and that's fine. And Idea has Cerberus. I guess it doesn't matter which one I bring back because I gave Squall Zell's powers because Zell, I had this vague notion he was the party lead, and maybe I had some kind of party lead set up, but I don't really. Squall has Doom Train, and that's the only one that really needs the AP points right now. Experience, there's a couple of ones that could use experience. Just so that I don't have to break it out into 3. I'm just going to have one set of junctions and magic not be used this time. So I will give Renoa Eidea's junctions, and that way I will know that Aidea doesn't have anything that we need to worry about. She's got a few magics. Does anybody have... Yeah, magic... Okay, Zell now has nothing. Like, literally nothing. Not just a mule's setup. So I don't think we ever have to use Aidea again, and I don't think I want to use Aidea again. So this means that poor Aidea now has no spells and no junctions or GFs. That's fine. That is actually what we want, because it's fun to have her hang around as a bonus character for a bit. Didn't use her much. Doesn't make sense to use her if you've powered up other characters. We got to see her regular attack, which is kind of waves a hand and an enemy takes damage. We got to see her limit break. That's kind of it. I mean, the way this game works, limit breaks are really the only thing that make your characters different, with one or two little exceptions. Squall's critical hit rate is not depending on its luck. It depends on how you do it, that mini game where you have to hit the trigger at certain times. Selfie's ultimate weapon makes her actually have 255% hit percentage. So, like, that's actually... Maybe there's others. Renoa has those Angelo skills that I have specifically not learned because there's something that I want to exploit off screen that they can mess up. But she has like some powers, like Angelo will occasionally charge in and do a melee attack on an enemy that has hit Renoa. I think that's how it works. Maybe it just comes in and does melee attacks occasionally. But yeah, otherwise, Kaitis, Zell, Irvine, completely identical other than their limit breaks. Selfie, completely identical other than her limit break, except for that little thing where her ultimate weapon gives her maximum accuracy. Zell, completely identical, except for his limit breaks, other than the fact that he's got that little trigger thing for critical hit percentage. And I guess Renoa, now that I think about it, with the Angelo techniques, where Angelo occasionally gives you can occasionally have him find potions and stuff if you learn a special technique. You can occasionally have Angelo attack. It just like randomly pops in, kind of like the way Odin will occasionally pop in and just defeat all enemies for you. Angelo will occasionally just pop in and hit one enemy for melee damage. Otherwise, she's the same. So there's nothing special about Aidea once she's in your party. Cypher is actually more useful during the brief time he's in your party because this limit break hits all enemies, and Aidea's only hits one. So Aidea actually not as useful as Cypher as far as our bonus characters go. Now that I think about it, I think Kyros and Ward have limit breaks that hit one character, and Laguna has a hit all. So yeah, Cypher and Laguna kind of tied as our other party members as far as who's more useful, and everyone else is tied for not as useful as those two. So they're both all loaded for bear for the first time in a while. I can actually... We have Angelo Rush, which you can't really get rid of. I think that's just a limit break. And Angelo Cannon is just a limit break. And Invincible Moon is a limit break. Wishing Star is a limit break. I intentionally avoided learning Recover, because he will go out and find... Maybe I could have learned Recover in reverse. No, I don't think I wanted to. I think this means that there are random actions he can take that will prevent him from taking Angelo Search as a random action. And Angelo Search is something the game where the strategy guides will tell you, this is a thing. You can get into battles You can create circumstances in the battle where the enemy will never actually defeat you, and the battle will go on forever if you don't run away. And then you can just let the PS2 back in the day, or PS1 back in the day, or now the PS4, preferably set to triple speed, run overnight, and you'll come back and you will have dozens of random bonus items, and Angelo can find some rare and unusual items. There are a few items that can only be found in the PS4 version through Angelo search, because they're nothing you'd need to win the game, but they're tied to this Chocobo World side game that was like a tie-in with a portable system or something. I don't freaking know, but whatever. It's something you can't... It was part of like the original Japanese version. It showed up in the US only in the PC version and wasn't part of the PS1 version, so I never played it that way at all, ever. But yeah, some items you can get only through that are kind of fun, and if you want a, quote, perfect game with all the inventory you would need, it can only be obtained through Angelo search, so I'll be exploiting that at some point, but you gotta learn it first, and right now she don't know it. There is an enemy type that appears here. I didn't mean to spoil this for myself, but just checking the fact to make sure that I wasn't missing anything, I did note a specific enemy type where they give you kind of a specific, here's a setup that makes them pretty harmless. And so in my defense, I already had it. They do status stuff like mute and blind, but we already had moved that into our status defense, so we are good to go. If we were to save now, I could stop yakking and call it a video, and when we come back next time, we will explore Lollapalooza Canyon. Maybe I want to keep this. Oh, that's this too. I'm not going all the way back to this too. Forget it. Ragnarok Air Room. Yeah. So when we come back next time, folks, we will explore this spaceship that we happen to find. That's handy. See you next time.